Hey Facebook, how you guys doing? It's Let's Talk About It. I know we are early, just for this Sunday only. We're going to do our live segment right now at 2 o'clock because I have a very special date with a very special friend this evening. We are going to be attending my dear friend Silver's wedding, so I will not be available at 7. So in being true to the segment, I wanted to make sure that we did it today, and we're just doing it a little early. So I'm going to say good morning to everyone. Is it morning? No. Good afternoon to everyone, and hello everybody. I will identify everyone at the end. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about today maintaining balance. Like, how important is it? I mean, we hear a lot right now about balance, just being balanced, having an equal amount of work, an equal amount of play, an equal amount of peace in our lives. And maintaining balance is so important to the health. So, of course, as usual, I've done a lot of research, and I'm going to share what I researched with you guys, and I want you to share with me. That's what this platform is all about, just giving and sharing knowledge, okay? So, the first article I'm going to share with you guys is an article entitled The Importance of Maintaining Balance. And it's by a person by the name of Z. Hereford. And I like this article because Z gives an analogy that really kind of helps us to really get an idea, a picture. I don't know. I'm the type of person I see in pictures. So when you give me a story, I actually visualize it. So these types of analogies really work for me and how my brain works. So Z talks about how we tend to underestimate how much maintaining balance contributes to the living life successfully and productively model. Like, we really want to be productive. We really want to be successful, but sometimes we kind of underestimate what that means. So he kind of gives an analogy to a sports enthusiast, and he talks about how an Olympic athlete, in order to get results, the Olympic athlete, they train for the event in the most efficient and productive manner possible, because the margin of error in a sporting event is minuscule. You could win or lose in an Olympic event by a hair or 1/100th of a second. You think about that when you're watching the swimmers and they're swimming, and that person gets there 1/100th of a second before the next person, and they get the goal. So the training is so important. Not a chance an athlete wants to take by missing that 1/100th of a second. So he says when training, I'm assuming it's a he, it could be a she. When in training, the athlete must have discipline and maintain a routine that includes the proper balance of sleep, good nutrition, and exercise. He or she must also employ psychology to make sure that they have the necessary mindset or attitude when they're working towards their craft, okay? Attitude and mindset are so important that they could make the difference between winning and losing. Okay, so he gives us that analogy so we could really think about that Olympic event. We could really see how training is so important to an athlete, how it could really make a difference. So then he goes on to say, if any one of these components is missing or out of balance, the athlete will not perform well. So it is with living life to the fullest. We don't have to adhere to the strict regimen of the Olympic athlete, but in order to function at our best, we definitely need to balance taking care of ourselves both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Focusing too much on any one of those could actually lead to problems. So he talks about, he gives some examples. He says, if you exercise too much, hard to imagine, he says, and not take time to rest and replenish, you would injure yourself. So you don't want to exercise too much. You want to have that proper balance. If you read or do a disproportionate amount of mental work, your body would lack proper circulation and fitness. If you spend an enormous amount of time meditating and relaxing, your brain waves will slow down and you'll lack mental agility. So anything that you overdo in excess can be bad. They talk about if you drink too much water it can be a problem. So anything in excess is a problem. The key is to have what? Balance. So we want to have balance. So then he goes on to talk about how do we maintain balance in our lives? And these are just some of the things that Z is recommending. He says, he or she, because I don't know the author, I don't know what Z is, but I'm saying he, because I'm not sure. So Z says, know yourself and know how much rest, food, and exercise you need to function at your best. How many times have you gone to a gym or you tried to emulate someone else's workout routine and it didn't work for you? You tried to emulate someone else's diet plan and it didn't work for you. We have to do what's best for our bodies. Our bodies are composed a certain way, and what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So it's very, very important that you know your body and you know how much rest, food, and exercise you need to function at your best. There are many good books and websites that give great advice on diet and exercise. Decide what works best for you. Sometimes you have to try things. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you won't have success. You just might not have success with that avenue. You might need to go down another avenue, try a different program, a different regimen. He says, keep your mind alert and in shape. As mentioned in the 10 positive habits to develop, which I didn't mention because I don't have them. So look up 10 positive habits to develop by Z. Hereford, and it's Hereford. He says to try to learn a new piece of information each day, even if it's in conversation with your spouse or children at the dinner table. Keep your mind going. They have little apps that teach you a new word every day. Do things like that. Try to learn something new every day. Stimulate your brain. Keep your mind sharp. Play mind games, like things like Sudoku and things like that. Do things that actually stimulate you mentally. He says to stay connected with family and friends. At the end of the day, share with your spouse and children how the day went for each of you. Have that sit down time. Some people do it at dinner. Some people do it in the car ride home if you all carpool together. But take time to spend time with family and get updated on what's going on. Stay present in each other's lives. So we're so busy that we have to make sure that we keep that balance in our households. And that's what Z says. He says we live busy lives, but we should never be too busy to connect with and make at least one phone call to a parent, a sibling, or a friend during the day. One call a day might not work for you because a lot goes on in the day, but if you try to make one phone call a week, 4 phone calls a month, try to reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, just to say, hey, you could and don't text. Make a phone call. Make the phone call. Yeah, you can send an email, but let's try to be tangible. If you can't go and visit that person, at least talk to them. This generation, this texting is a great thing, but it's causing us not to communicate with each other. Let's hear each other's voices. Let's call somebody. Pick up the phone, dial a number, call. I'm not trying to talk for a long time. I just called to say hi, just to see how you're doing, let you know I'm thinking about you. That's it. But just reach out. Okay? Do something spontaneous, Z says. Our lives can be too regimented at times, so it's a good idea to do something out of the ordinary every now and again. During your lunch day, go for a pedicure or massage, take a drive down a country road one afternoon. On a weekend, go to a concert or an opera or something like that. Do that. Go to the flea market on Saturday or do something. Just do something spontaneous that you don't normally do. Go to the museums. We have all these fabulous things in Washington, D.C. If you're in the Washington metropolitan area, we have all of these wonderful museums, or wherever you are. I'm sure there's museums and things that have been there forever. You've been there forever and you don't take advantage of it. Do something spontaneous, like just go every once in a while, go do something different. And then the last thing Z recommends is to make time for yourself. Each evening, take time to unwind. If that means leaving the dishes overnight, which I cannot do, so be it. Take a nice bath, read a book, or for me, or he says, or listen to soothing music. For me, before I go to bed, I play a game on my phone every night before I go to bed, while I'm laying in the bed. That kind of like relaxes me. It stimulates my brain, and it actually relaxes me. Even though I'm stimulating my brain, it relaxes me. That's like the last thing I do before I put my phone down. That's the last thing I do. So whatever works for you, whether it's meditating at night, doing your prayer, going in your prayer closet, spending time with the Creator, whether it's listening to some smooth music every evening, take time, do multiple things like that. And even it doesn't have to be one thing, but you should wind down from your day. That is so important. You need to eat, not on the run. That really is important. Sometimes we eat on the run. We're eating poor things. We're eating horrible things, or we're eating while we're doing other things. Take time for yourself. Take that time. 24 hours in a day. You could take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even a half an hour out of 24 hours to focus on you. That's very, very important. So that was the article by Z. Hereford, The Importance of Maintaining Balance. Check it out. And then don't forget to check out the 10 Positive Habits to Develop by Z also. So the next article I want to share to you is Maintaining Balance in Your Life. This is written by Elizabeth Scott. And Elizabeth kind of talks about different things that she feels are very, very important. And I'm just going to go over some of them. She talks about how it's important to have a mix of work and play in your life. Same thing that Z says. It's important to have those things, do some of the things that you want to do, because there's so many things that we have to do that it can be very, very draining. So we have to incorporate some of those things that we want to do. We also need to carve out enough time for sleep. That's really, really important. Relationships that sustain us, exercise, healthy meals, and other life-affirming activities, such as intimacy with our spouses. That's very, very important. We can't neglect those things. We cannot neglect our spouses. We cannot neglect ourselves. We cannot neglect exercise and incorporating those things in our life. That is so important. You can't just be about one thing, work, or play. There has to be balance. You have to have balance. So she asked the question, so what does maintaining balance look like? She says, sometimes maintaining balance can be messy. Even when we find our overall balance, in our lives, there are going to be times when we're overloaded. So we must realize that we need to pare down on some things, and we need to work towards greater balance, because you're not going to be balanced all the time. Hence, you're being very, very attention focused on that needing to be there. So there are going to be times where you're overloaded. There's going to be times where you're stressed. So you just have to keep in the back of your mind, okay, I'm off balance. I need to pull it back together. I need to change some things. I need to do some things. Because how many times have you ever gotten sick because you work too much, you've been going too much, you're not getting the proper sleep, you're not getting the proper nutrition, and your body just says, forget it. And it shuts down on you because you won't stop. So your body stops you. Has that ever happened to you? And it's because you're not on balance, you're off balance. Okay? So she says, these are some suggestions that Elizabeth has. She says, take a mental health day. I like that. The movie Ferris Bueller Days Off, a favorite film of hers, depicts a high school senior making the most out of a day of playing hockey. It became classic for a reason. People everywhere can identify with the need to take just one day off from the pressure of the monotony of life and do anything and everything possible to make it count. You might not spend that day singing in parades or eating at fancy restaurants or trying not to be run over by your jealous sister like in the movie, but spending one day in a way that feels restful and fulfilling to you is the trick. Again, to you. What is resting and fulfilling to you? So don't ask somebody what you should do. You figure out what you should do to make yourself feel balanced. Take that mental health day. Another suggestion of Elizabeth, and this is something that I have learned how to do very well, is to just say no. That is so important. Think about all the things you need to do. Which ones do you want to do? Which ones do you have to do? Ideally, I can't talk today for some reason. Ideally, there should be a mix of both of those. When working on maintaining balance, you could do two things that involve saying no, and both can make a big impact. First, see if there are any have-to items that you can cross off your list. So when you do your to-do list of all the things you have to do in the day, are all of those things really things that you have to do that day? Or there's some that you could take off the list? Are there some that you could delegate? Are there some that you actually, after you think about it, you don't really need to do them anymore because you can merge some things together? That's really, really important. Think of your own well-being and try to make the right choice. Second, be sure that all of your want-to items really bring you joy and feed you emotionally. If they're just sort of like a time waster, cross those things off. Do things that are really worth your time. That's one thing that makes me extremely frustrated is wasting time. I do not like people to waste my time. I do not like wasting time because you cannot get that back. So I like to be on time to things. I like efficiency because time is precious. You don't know. Like, remember I talked about if you watch my segments in the mornings on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one of them was you get, and I got this from TD Jakes, you get 86,400 seconds a day. But you're not guaranteed those 86,400 seconds. So each one of those seconds you should spend wisely and don't squander them. Don't take for granted that you're going to get those seconds again tomorrow because everybody didn't get theirs today. Everybody didn't wake up today. And everybody didn't get their full deposit yesterday. Some people expired before their seconds were up. So you have to balance your time and you have to use your time wisely. So if you're adding things that you want to do, really let them be things that you want to do. The things that you need to do, really make them be things that you need to do. Use your time wisely so as not to cause more stress. Okay, remember we're trying to maintain balance. And the next thing that Elizabeth says is to ask for help. It can sometimes be easier for an outsider, someone who is not you, to see not only when you are getting out of balance, but recognize what you can do to get back in balance. Everything in your busy schedule may seem vital, and sometimes it is, according to Elizabeth. But if there's something that may be more easily let go, it's often a good friend, close relative, or a spouse who can help you recognize that. If you don't have the kind of supportive person or persons in your life, it may even be worth it on finding help from a professional or from a life coach or more serious stress situations, a therapist. So if you're really, really out of balance and you really, really cannot get yourself back in balance, then you need to ask for help. Whether that is asking for help from somebody that you really, really trust, or that's that you know, or that's going to someone who that is their career to help people, life coaches, therapists. You need to get yourself in balance, okay? That's so very important. And then Elizabeth says the next steps, she gives 3 strategies that really she said, can work wonders for those who are already at the breaking point and need to regroup. There are many times in our lives that we're at the breaking point and we need to regroup. So if you go and check out, her name is Elizabeth Scott, and the article is Maintaining Balance in Your Lifestyle. She gives 3 links that you could go to, and one of them is Finding Balance, Valuable Tips for the Stressed and Busy. The second one is Women and Stress, the Need for Balance. And the third one is Stay Balanced in Times of Stress. So check out her article because those links are on her article. And I'll put these articles on, I'll put them in the comment section after the live video so you can go check them out. So the last one that I got for you guys is 5 secrets to achieving and maintaining work-life balance. How many of you want that? Work-life balance. How many of you work more than you relax? Okay, I'm not going to say work more than you should, but work more than you relax. Okay, because the problem isn't working. The problem is that you don't balance the working with the relaxation, the working with the play. Okay, working is fine as long as you have balance. And you might be able to work 12 hours and be perfectly balanced because you have everything else, whereas I might only be able to do 8. So again, you're not trying to emulate anyone else. You're finding out what that balance is for you. That is so key. What works for someone else doesn't necessarily work for us. So we have to maintain and find that balance that is true to our well-being, ourselves. Okay, so The 5 Secrets to Achieving and Maintaining Work-Life Balance by Craig Sincata, I think it is Cincotta. Craig Sincata. I guess that's how you say that. So the first one is, be open about your needs. How many of us, when someone asks us, are we okay, we say yes, and we're not. It's just an automatic response. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. No, you're not. It's okay to say you're not. Well, I mean, you won't tell everybody you're not. You're selective in who you tell, but you have to be true to you. If you're not okay, don't say you're okay. Be open about your needs. And Craig says that he believes that the first thing people need to do is identify what truly matters to them and communicate that. Don't hide it. Don't expect others to guess what makes you feel balanced and fulfilled. That's not fair. That's not theirs. That's yours. You need to know what makes you balanced and fulfilled, and you need to communicate that. Don't expect somebody else to pick that up, especially if you're not even clear about what it is yourself. Do you need to leave work at 5 p.m. so that you can have dinner with your family? Do you need to step away at 12 p.m. to attend a yoga class? Wherever your sweet spot is, you need to find it and be transparent about it. And he's talking about your needs, your sweet spot to bring balance to yourself, whatever that is. Employees need to have an open dialogue with their managers, and managers need to understand what works and what's possible. Different jobs require different approaches, but everyone can benefit from having an open and honest conversation about what balance means. So you might actually start something at your place of employment where you all do stretches together or something, anything. You don't know, somebody else might want to do that too. And if you initiate that idea, it might actually be a movement that you start to help everybody bring balance. Because if everybody's balanced in the workplace, guess how much more efficient you will be. Okay, that's important. So number 2 for Craig is respect boundaries. You cannot achieve your balance if you don't respect the boundaries you have put in place. Listen to this. It will be hard in the beginning, but you need to stick with it so you develop a routine and drive a culture and lifestyle of predictability. You will find that there's also something else you can do. There's always another email to reply to or another problem to work, but you need to personally respect your boundaries. If you don't, then you can expect others not to respect them. What he is saying here is you need to set parameters and stick to them. Don't allow everybody else to manipulate your schedule. Don't allow everybody else to manipulate your day. You plan to leave work at 5 o'clock, okay? But you let any little emergency or any little situation take you over to 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever. Or you plan to go to the gym and you allow anything to take you off. Be true to the boundaries that you set. And don't blame anybody because you don't stick to your own boundaries. It's your fault. No one can do anything unless you give them permission. So set boundaries and respect the boundaries that you set for yourself because they will help you. Okay? Number 3 for Craig, understand what really matters. Craig says over the years, he's seen too many people spend too much time working on things that don't really matter. Time is of the most valuable commodity in life. And Elizabeth talked about that too. It is one thing you cannot buy more of. We talked about those 86,400 seconds. You can't get more of them. Every day, whatever you didn't use, it doesn't roll over to the next day. You can't deposit those seconds onto the next day and have a longer day. Your day is not going to be more than 24 hours. Your day is not going to be more than 86,400 seconds. That's it. That's all you get. So you have to make the most of that. So don't waste time, Craig says. Focus on what really matters. What really moves the needle for business? Are you working on priorities that drive the overall goals of your business? Or are you just making noise? Love that. Really scrutinize your day. Max out every hour, minute, and second to focus on what's most important. Max out those seconds. He's saying use those 86,400 seconds wisely. Max them out because you can't roll them over. For some, this may require a high degree of planning and structure. So again, what works for you? Do you have to plan every single thing out in your day in order for you to stick to it? Then do it. Whatever works for you, do it, because you should be the most important thing to you. Because if you're focused on making sure that you're okay, then everybody else in your life will benefit. If you're not focusing on yourself being okay, then everybody else in your life will be affected by you not being okay. So it's very important that you're okay. You might think that you're doing something for your family members and for your friends by doing everything for them, doing everything everybody else wants to do, and running here and running there and doing this and doing that. You're not helping them because you're not 100%. You're spent, you're stressed, you're out of energy, you are not able to contribute anything. So you're not helping them, you're hurting them. So the more you focus on making sure you're okay, the more everybody else will benefit. Okay? Number 4, embrace the off button. I love this. Pretty much every piece of technology has an off button. So use it. It is not easy for many people. This is the hardest thing to do. To get started, do it in phases. Don't bring your cell phone to the dinner table. What? Don't bring your cell phone to the dinner table. When you are on vacation, be on vacation, people. Don't bring your tablet to the beach. You at the beach, for real? And you got your Mac? You at the beach and you got your iPad? Can you just enjoy some sun and some water for a minute? Okay, don't say you playing your game, because you know daggone Skippy, you doing more than playing your game. Relax. If you're on vacation, be on vacation. Once you have done it a few times, it's easier to push the boundaries. When you unplug and step back, you will start to experience one of life's greatest treasures, perspective. Isn't that wonderful? Perspective. You've lost perspective if you cannot turn your cell phone off, if you cannot do anything without your cell phone, if you cannot do anything without your tablet. You have lost perspective, because everybody else's issues are more important to you than yours. What? You will think about problems you are wrestling with greater clarity once you press that off button. You allow yourself the freedom to be more analytical and less emotional when you step away and think versus diving in and responding in the moment. Step away and think versus diving in and responding to the moment. That was for me. That's good. Because so often we're so quick to find a solution, to find a remedy, that we didn't really think it through. And it might not be the solution at all. It might not be the remedy at all. We have to gain clarity. And the only way we can gain clarity is if we are unplugged. Did you guys see The Matrix? Do you remember The Matrix? If you didn't see it, you got to watch it. Because you need to be unplugged. You need to get out of that system that, whatever you need to do to give yourself balance, you need to do it. And one of those things is this technology. I mean, the technology is great. It's allowing me to do what I'm doing right now with you guys. But you can't do it all the time. You have to be able to unplug, turn the phone off, turn the computer off, turn the TV off. Go outside, listen to the birds. That is like such a wonderful thing for me. I actually enjoy that. Listening to nature, just being still, being quiet, even if it's only, take baby steps. My God, if it's only for 10 minutes, okay, 5. Be still and enjoy quiet and solitude just for a minute. But that, taking the phone from the dinner table, all of that, guys, can we please? I mean, come on. Really, seriously. Okay, last one, number 5. Pace yourself. This is from Craig. To have a long, healthy, productive, and happy life and career, you need to understand the value of pace. There are times when you need to throttle up, and there are times when you need to throttle down. Self-awareness is crucial. Doing so will help you enjoy the journey as much as the destination. So it's very, very important that you pace yourself, that you make sure that you're moving fast when you're supposed to be moving fast, and you're slowing down when you're supposed to be slowing down. So the key here, everybody, is figure out what it takes for you to have that work-life balance, that play-life balance, that healthy life balance, that exercise life balance. All of those things together, we need to balance those things out. And again, we can't use what works for somebody else because it won't necessarily work for you. You have to do what works for you. Find out what makes your engine run smoothly. Find out what oil works best for you. You know, every car doesn't take the same oil. Every car doesn't take the same gas. So you have to figure out what works best in your engine. What works best to keep your motor running? What works best in your tank to keep you going? Is 8 hours yours for sleep, or is 6 fine? Whatever works best for you. 8 glasses of water, or will 6 do? 10 glasses of water, or will 5 do? Jogging in the morning, doing aerobics, what works for you? What does your body respond to? Figure out what works for you. Spend that quality time with your family, with your loved ones. Pick up that phone at least 4 times a month. Once a week, pick up the phone and call somebody. Please don't text them to say how you doing. Give them a call, even if you're on the phone for only 2 minutes. You might be busy. I'm actually running right now. I just called to tell you I was thinking about you. I hope you're having a great day. Give me a call later. Let's touch base. Maybe we can do lunch soon. That wasn't even a minute. Just do that. Take that time to just balance yourself, to do things that matter. Do things that you can really look back on your day and feel like you really accomplished something. Again, we are not guaranteed those seconds. We're not guaranteed those hours. Use them wisely. Learn how to delegate. Learn how to allow other people to help you when you need help. Don't try to be an overachiever. Don't try to do everything yourself, because you can't. And why? Don't reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of things that we do that we don't have to do. You just employ the help of other people. Employ the assistance of other people. And take time to unplug. Take time, turn the phone off. Turn Facebook off. Turn Instagram off. Turn Marco Polo off. Turn Twitter off. We really wish a whole lot of people would turn Twitter off. But turn those things off just for a little while. Unplug. Get out of the matrix and just find out what makes you tick. Spend some time with you. Spend some time getting to know yourself. Spend some time being quiet. Spend some time being still. Okay? Go for a walk in the park. If you have a pet, take your dog for a walk, or just go by yourself, or if your cat, whatever. Spend some time relaxing and focusing on you. If you are 100%, heck, if you're 95%, 90%, you will be that for everybody in your life, and everybody will benefit. But if you don't focus on taking care of you, if you don't focus on putting yourself first and making sure that you're okay, you're not going to be okay for anybody, and you're not going to benefit anybody. So again, I'm going to put these 3 articles on in the comments after the live video. You all need to check them out. They were really, really good. Let me see if anybody made any comments. I got anything to share with me? Hello, my darling niece. My darling Shawn is on here. Patrick, how you doing? And Donna. Hey, Donna. I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm glad you guys took time to meet with me early today. Next Sunday, we'll be back at 7 o'clock. We just had to do it early today so I can attend my girl's wedding tonight. I'm so excited. I just want you to really spend time working on you. Spend time making sure that you're balanced and you're okay. Because if you're okay, oh, my sister, what if you're 10%? If you're at 10%, then you are putting other things before you. You're busy and you're focused on making sure that everything in your life is okay, but you're not putting that energy and that time on you. And it's wonderful when we do that. It's wonderful that we want to make sure that everybody's okay. It's wonderful that we want to make sure that the work is okay. We want to make sure that our house is clean and, the bills are paid and the pets are okay and the children are okay. But if you're not okay, then none of that stuff is going to benefit. So you have to pull back and spend time on you, because if you're only at 10%, we need to get you way higher than 10%. We need to get you way higher than 50%. And the only way that we could do that is if we go inside and we work on ourselves. We need to get in our prayer closet. We need to start meditating. We need to start figuring out what is broken. What is it that I am doing? That am I sabotaging myself? Because a lot of times we have ourselves to blame for a lot of things that are going on, because we take on more than we should. We absorb way more than we should. We need to put oil all over ourselves so that water can run off. We need to allow more things to run off of us and not absorb so much stuff, especially, and I don't mean this in any kind of crazy way, Patrick, but especially for women. We absorb so much. We take so much in, so much that is not ours, especially as mothers, so much that is not ours. And we take it on and we absorb it and we try to fix everything. We try to make sure everything is okay. And what is lacking? Us. We put ourselves last. We put ourselves at the bottom. How many times when your children were younger did you go shopping and everything that was for you ended up out the basket and everything that was for everybody else was still in the basket? Because we always do for everybody else before we do for ourselves. And that might seem admirable, but really it's not. Because like I said, if we're not okay, then our spouse is not going to be okay. If we're not okay, then our children are not going to be okay. We have to be okay for us. And that is so much easier said than done. It is so much easier said than done. And I am a work in progress, because every day I'm getting a little better at some things, and some things I'm like, really? When am I gonna pass this test? When am I gonna get through this? When am I gonna be over this hurdle? I am so tired of these hurdles. I just want to end the race. Some things come faster than others, but the key is spending that time and focusing on us, because we have to be okay in order for us to continue to give. I told somebody that you cannot just be a giver. You have to receive. You have to receive. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she had to ask for help, and it hurt her. It killed her. It killed her spirit. I mean, she couldn't even function because she had to ask for help. And sometimes that's the hardest thing. But I tell you what, the same thing that she had to ask for, if she had it, she would have given it without a second thought. So it's so easy for us to give. It's so easy for us to put out. But when we have to ask, it's like it kills us. But in order to give, you have to be a receiver, because you're causing someone else to miss their blessing when you don't receive. So we have to receive from other people. We have to receive from the universe. We have to receive from the Creator. You have to spend time with the Creator. You have to really spend time on you, because that's really important. The only way that you could be the best wife that you could be, the best mother that you could be, the best employer or boss that you could be, is if you are the best you, if you're spending that time on you. So that's really important. That's really important to me, that we are taking care of ourselves. That's why I'm doing these segments, seriously, because things that I'm working on for me, I feel like other people might be needing that too. Things that I've learned that are helping me, I'm thinking that other people might benefit from that too. So this is why I do the Let's Talk About It, because if we talk about some things, we'll be surprised at how many people are going through that same thing and how many people can benefit from that same information. So that's why I want you guys to give me topics. What do you think we should talk about? This is not just about me coming up with things. Several of the topics that I've shared were given to me by people watching like you. So share with me what topics you think, what things are on your mind that you think would be great for us to exchange. And I want more interaction. I want you guys to share with me because I need to receive too. This helps me as much as it helps you, because when I do this research, it's like, oh my gosh, that is so good. I can't wait to share it. So let's just continue to help each other. Let's continue to talk to each other. Let's make sure that we're all okay. Let's look out for each other. Let's pay it forward. But I want you all to have a blessed and productive week. I will be on tomorrow morning on my page, or my Server Kenyatta page, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do my positive quotes in the morning, and sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 6:30, sometimes it's closer to 7. It just depends on which way I'm going to work and where I don't think I'm going to get cut off so I can do the live segment. But I try to give a positive quote in the morning because that helps me. So I'm just giving you guys what helps me. Trust me, I am a work in progress, and I just thank you for tuning in. I love you guys so much. This means so much to me that if I could just say one thing that will give somebody what it gave to me, that it makes it all worth it. So I love you guys. I pray that you have a positive, productive week. I pray that you have traveling mercies wherever you go, each and every day. I pray that you take time for you. Next Sunday, if you tune in, which you should, at 7 o'clock, if you tune in or on this comment page later in the week, come back and say what you did, how you helped yourself this week, what you did to make sure that you're okay, what you did to make yourself balanced, what did you let go of, what did you add. Share with me. Let's do that, okay? Let's each commit to sharing one thing that we did this week. So between now and next Sunday, come back to this live video in the comment section, and of course it'll be a recorded video then, and share what you did, okay? Just update it. I pray you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you tomorrow morning between 6 and 7 at some point, maybe earlier, I didn't know, on my Server Kenyatta page, giving you your positive quote for the day. Love you guys. Peace.